Hello, everybody. I'm Kenneth Woods. I'm the news editor at The Lion's Roar, and today we're going to continue with a new series where we talk about music. It's called Music Minds. The first episode was with our uh, opinions editor, Ian Stewart. He talked about climbing by a mountain, and today I will talk to y'all about uh, an album near and dear to my heart and to the hearts of many around the world, including our very own Mr. Rain Peppo. Today we're going to talk about Blonde by Frank Ocean. Now, we're in for a treat. Maybe some tears as well, but we'll see how things go. Um, Blonde by Frank Ocean, for some background info, it came out on August 20th, 2016. It is exactly 1 hour, and it was recorded across multiple studios, including London's famous Abbey Road Studios. Blonde, when it came out, uh, I, 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 I think really showed people, you know, just how incredible of an artist Frank Ocean is, and just how private he is for sure. Because if you know the story behind it, like this was a surprise to many. It took a couple years to come out. Frank Ocean before we know him as the artist that he is today. He was just writing songs for various other artists like Justin Bieber, and then he helped out with Watch the Throne with Jay-Z and Kanye. Before he really like stepped out onto the scene himself with Nostalgia Ultra, and then finally Channel Orange in 2012. Uh, he was more along the background, and with Channel Orange, it put him into the foreground, showed him just how incredible of a musician he is, of a producer, of a songwriter, and of a singer. The man can sing, and he showcases that on Blonde as well. Blonde is a like Channel Orange, a concept album, and it plays with sound, plays with a lot of ambient sound, a lot of R&B, funk. It kind of swims through various genres in a really interesting and unique way, and that's why I think it's gotten so much praise over the last 7 years, and why so many of his fans, including myself, are clamoring for whatever comes next. I love Blonde. It has had such a personal impact on my life. I really started getting into listening to Frank Ocean with my best friend Chance around 15 years old, which is probably around the same time most people get into like music and music that really speaks to them on a personal level, like around your teenage years. And his music was transformative for me, and for a lot of people, it was a very emotionally cathartic experience listening to his music for the first time. Well, man, what I wouldn't give to listen to it, to listen to Blonde, listen to Channel Orange, listen to any Frank Ocean song for the first time all over again, and getting to relive uh, that experience, relive that emotion. Fun fact: I was in the top 0.01% of Frank Ocean listeners on Spotify in 2020, which is both shows just how devout of a fan I am and just how depressing 2020 was. But before I go through each song and kind of delve through the track list, which is, let's see, I believe it is, let's see, which is 17 songs long, exactly 1 hour in length. I want to talk about this album's kind of most infamous story. Uh, like I said, he had begun recording this, years before it came out, like around 2013. Um, and around that time, he had just got signed to Def Jam Records. Um, but they obviously, like most music producers, most record labels, they're not. the best when it comes to taking care of their artist or providing their artist their their rightful means, or providing their artist the ability to own their masters. Um, and so, what Frank Ocean devised a scheme. He had one more album to produce with this Def Jam contract, and then he would be done. So on August 19th, he dropped a 140-minute live stream of him building a staircase, and to that video, uh, in the background, the album called Endless played throughout the whole time. And if Blonde is this kind of is dipping its toes into more ambient sounds, Endless is an entire album of pure ambience, of pure ambient sounds, and this kind of like almost feels like liquidy in a sense. The album was just that, and that's what people thought that his new album was. And it was definitely good, but not what people expected. People didn't expect to just see like a video. So once he released that, he was out of his contract with Def Jam, and then the very next day, August 20th, he drops Blonde as an independent, and he makes $20 million off that album. $20 million. He swindled that company out of $20 million, and it is, I think, one of the craziest, most amazing like success stories, or like music industry stories, because it just shows like if you have moxie, if you have creative moxie, like you can pull one over on these multi-billion-dollar company record labels. I always thought that was cool, and that's a really cool part of this album's existence. But now, let's go through and let's delve through every single song. Now, this album has been out for over 7 years now, so it's very likely that most of y'all have listened to it. But even if you have, if you're like me, I'll never deny going through a Frank Ocean song, talking through it bit by bit. And for those who haven't listened to it, well, I hope this serves as a great introduction to what I hope to be an amazing experience listening to Frank Ocean. So, track number 1 of 17 is Nikes. And Nikes is obviously, like the title says, Nikes refers to the shoe brand Nikes. And the very first lyric, these can't say that, want Nikes. They looking for a check. And this kind of speaks to one of the running themes that we'll see throughout this album, and that's Frank's newfound success, and versus like being famous, enjoying fame while wanting to maintain a private life, and wanting to be to himself, not really seeing himself as famous despite being such a famous person. And on this first lyric, we see that like, he doesn't want to engage in a relationship with someone who just wants to like use him for his money. He doesn't see himself as this like ultra famous person. He still wants his own privacy, and he doesn't want to like deal with that kind of relationship. Like, they looking for a check, tell him it ain't likely. Not because he doesn't have the means to, but because that's not what he wants outside of a relationship, love, and things of that nature. And this song is such a great introduction to this album. You hear Frank crooning in this kind of hyper auto-tuned electronic voice. He's just wailing, and it's so jarring yet beautiful, and I love that. You have this slow track, kind of these like slow 808s in the background, just it's such a great song to start this album off with. And Could you cut right here? Yeah, cut right here, like that little empty space, because that's when the camera went out. Um, what I really enjoy the most, like past the second verse where he begins with, "We'll let you guys prophesy," like saying, you guys can, you know, debate and predict what my life is going to do, where my life is going to go, the moves I'm going to make next. And Frank, as a famously private person, like, he's not going to reveal any of that. He's like, you guys can do whatever y'all want. Y'all can predict whatever y'all want. We're going to see the future first. I'm going to see the future first because I know what's going to come up next. I find that very inspiring. But past that rap verse, at the end, he's saying, I may be younger, but I'll look after you. When you're not here, I'll say something for you. Like, there's still a part of him engaging in this new world of fame, of ultra fame and success, still wanting this kind of love and affection for himself, which is something I think we can all relate to. Not, of course, the millions and the success and the raving fans, but having so much noise and yet wanting to cut through it by having your own little bit of love. If we can all relate to that. So I think this is an incredible track to begin with. And past that, we get to, next one is Ivy. I always want to say Ivy by Frank Ocean. They're all by Frank Ocean. And this one is so personal. And what I really love about Frank Ocean's music, and Blonde in particular, is just how emotional, like how much emotion is sewn into every single line. Like you feel it. You can hear it in his voice. Ivy begins with, I thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing. I had no chance to prepare. I couldn't see you coming. The start of nothing. And we have all been there, for sure, right? This euphoric feeling of finding love, finding someone that you truly adore, and it feels like a dream. It doesn't even feel real whenever they say that they love you back. That they feel the exact same way about you that you do about them. And then he says it's the start of nothing, a relationship that was ultimately not going to go anywhere, that was doomed from the start, that was going to end in nothing else but a heartbreak. But we don't know that going into it. That's not what we plan to do going into it, and yet that's how it ends. And what a relatable feeling. Like, we have all had that deep love, whether or not it was requited or not, if they felt the same. We've all felt this kind of pure, deep compassion for someone, and one thing led to another, and it didn't go the way that we wanted it to go. Such a powerful way to begin the song. And it says, it's I could hate you now. It's quite all right to hate me now. Like saying, like, I could hate you. Like, I should hate you, but I don't, because the next thing he says is, when we both know that deep down, the feeling deep down, it is good. It's still good, you have caused me so much pain in my life, and yet I cannot look at you and hate you. I can only look at you and recognize all the times that we had when we were happy, and we can all relate to that, for sure. It just... his imagery in his music is so good. It's so good. If I could see the walls, I could see your faking. If you could see my thoughts, you would see our faces. Like, if I could see the walls, I can see just how fake you're being with me. I can see how you're lying to me, how you're not being real with me, how you're not being honest with me. And yet, at the same time, dealing with this betrayal, dealing with this lying, if you could see my thoughts, you would see your face. This whole time, good or bad, I'm still just thinking about you and thinking about you. Uh, like what like it's such a perplexing feeling to go through, and to feel like it's kind of paradox, this duality, which is a huge theme of Blonde. You know, on the album cover, it's Blonde, Blond, but for all other advertising, the way it's listed on Spotify and every single music streaming service out there, it's Blonde, Bolnde. From the very beginning, Frank sets up this dichotomy, this balancing duality of how I feel, what I'm versus what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling versus how you're feeling, and then we get into like male versus female, because Bolnd blonde is feminine, is the French feminine word for blonde, and Bolnde is the masculine French version. So he is setting up this kind of layered theme of duality, and it begins right here, right where I can see your thoughts. If I could see you, if I could see through you, I know that you're faking. So I feel disdain for you, and yet if you saw mine, you would see your face. I still feel love for you. Like, the song is so good. The song is so good. And then at the end, he says, "I've been dreaming of you, dreaming of you. I've been dreaming of you. I've been dreaming of you." Like, you just can't get this person out of your head. Just shows how crazy love is. How crazy love makes you feel. The things that it makes you think, the actions that it makes you take or want to take. It drives you insane. And at the end of the song, we can hear someone, presumably Frank, knocking over sets and what sounds like things being thrown around. Like, love makes you want to literally go crazy. Like, and he reflects that perfectly in this second track. Ivy, wonderful song. Next song is Pink and White. Pink and White was for a long time like my favorite Frank Ocean album. It is just so it's so good. It's so good. Like, it feels like it feels like what a summer day would sound like sonically. Like, it's so smooth, and that just nice percussion beat in the background, and Frank's vocals combined with Beyonce's background vocals. You got Beyonce on this album, on this track, and he's saying that's the way every day goes. Every time we have no control. If the sky is pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow, like, we have no control how things are going to go. They could be as beautiful as a pink and white sky, or they could not be as beautiful as that. We have no control. This delves into that kind of balancing within that dichotomy, that duality theme that he's going to continue to build on through the end of this album. And in this one, we hear Frank get kind of nostalgic, which is also another thing that they were gonna delve on, as time passes by in this album. He refers to how much he loves his mom, comparing her to kind of Mother Earth. You kneel down to the dry land, kiss the earth that birthed you, gave you tools just stay alive, same way a mother would teach you how to take care of yourself and make it out when the sun is ruined. We hear at the end, like, Frank kind of and with Beyonce in the background, like, going through these vignettes of summer themed memories, summer tinted, pink tinted memories. Like, Remember life, remember how it was. Climb trees, Michael Jackson, all in here. Say what up to Matthew, to Shub. Say what up to Danny. Say what up to life and immortality. You know? And we're going to touch on this later, but another theme is like immortality, wanting to live forever, but knowing that I won't. That kind of also duality of immortality versus mortality. Frank knows that he isn't going to live forever, but these memories and this feeling and the feelings that these memories evoke are in and of themselves their own kind of immortality that he can enjoy. And I think that's something we can all relate to, like our past lives, our past memories. We can never go back to them. We can never get back into that life, into those memories, but we can think back on them and we can relive the joy that we felt in that moment. And in a sense, that in and of itself is kind of an immortality, a forever. Love this song. It's an amazing song. It was my number one for 2020, for my most listened songs. So frequently near the top. I love Pink and White. Next, we have a bit of an interlude called "Be Yourself," and this is where Frank begins to weave in this sample called "Running Around" by Buddy Ross. You'll know it. It goes like dun 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 dun. And first of all, what a beautiful sample. Like I read somewhere that like this song was the epitome of nostalgia, and it literally is. It is such a beautiful sample, like, and it ties the entire album together, because this isn't the last time that you're going to hear it, but it's the first time, and it's just a perfect decision on Frank's part. And in the song, or in the interlude, I should say, we have Rosie Watson, who is the mother of one of Frank's childhood friends, and she's giving young people this kind of advice about when they go to college, to not get hooked on drugs, marijuana, and alcohol, and to stop trying to be somebody else. Don't try to be somebody else. Be yourself, which is the name of the interlude. Be yourself, and know that that's good enough. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be like someone else. Don't try to act like someone else. And she like hammers this idea home throughout the entire interlude, saying, be yourself. Don't succumb to outside pressure, because when you do things like you smoke marijuana, when people become weed heads, they become sluggish, lazy, stupid, and unconcerned. That's all marijuana does to you. Okay? She's trying to drive this point home, kind of going out her way to like refer to these like old stereotypes of what marijuana does, to really drive the point home that you shouldn't be falling into peer pressure. You should be yourself. But what I like, and what was pointed out to me, is that the speaker, Rosie, this motherly figure, wants you to be yourself, but then at the same time, she says, you understand the things that I've taught you. So it's not like she wants you to be yourself, but it in a manner that is tolerable, that is palatable to this motherly figure, which is also something that I think we've all experienced. Your mom telling you to be yourself, but when you are yourself, when you are purely yourself, you still receive judgment from your parents and from your mother and the adults around you. So it's like, what version of myself do you want me to be? Which again ties into that dichotomy, that duality. Like, be yourself. Don't be like other people, but don't be fully like you. Be the person that I want you to be. It's iconic. It's great. I have her lines, her voice stuck in my head. I've had it stuck in my head since 2019. Great interlude, which leads us into the next song, Solo. Solo by Frank Ocean. Oh, this song is so good. This song right here, he he begins, saying like he's kind of on a high right now. Hand me towel, I'm dirty dancing by myself, gone off tabs of that acid. He's running around, form a circle, watch my Jagger. Like I am dancing around right now. I am on a high. Um, and he kind of compares that high to the high that someone feels when they're with someone that they enjoy being around. Got to tell you how much I vibe with you, and we don't got to be solo. Like we can continue this good feeling together. Um, I love the way he weaves in metaphor the way he does throughout his songs, and which brings us into the chorus. Um, this chorus is a snippet of Frank's gorgeous vocals, but I don't think he gets enough credit for. Frank has an incredible voice. He says, "It's hell on earth and the city's on fire. Inhale, in hell, there's heaven. There's a bull and a matador dueling in the sky. Inhale, in hell, there's heaven." Kind of that wordplay right there. It's hell on earth, but it's also in hell, there's heaven. So breathe it all in. No matter which way you go to, no matter what you take in, you're taking in a lot of the good and a lot of the bad. And you're living both the bad and the good all the time at the same time, forever in perpetuity. And I think just being humans and being alive, like we all can attest to that for sure. I love this song. It's a great song. Next up we have Skyline 2, which is another kind of short track. Um, Aaron, I think we can listen to Aaron. You could skip through this part of me talking about Skyline 2, because it's good, but it's not a huge thing. You know what I'm saying? Please go ahead and cut this part out. We have Self-Control, and oh my God, Self-Control. Self-Control, I go back and forth on what the best song on this album is, and we are gonna have a many more top tier contenders as we go throughout, but Self-Control, I think, is the only song that has legitimately made me literally cry physical actual tears. Self-Control is is slow, it's methodical, it tears right into your very being, and it's just about understanding and realizing that a relationship that you value so deeply is coming to an end. Now y'all are basically on the verge of things being done, and that is such a heartbreaking feeling. Something that we can all kind of relate to, knowing that a relationship is about to end. He says, "Keep a place for me. I'll sleep between y'all. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. Keep a place for me. I'll sleep between y'all." It is so difficult to let someone go that we love and to see them be with someone else. But we love them so much that we are willing to debase ourselves, in a sense. Completely destroy our self-worth, our self-esteem, our self-sense of dignity just to be with them again, just to experience that feeling again. And before that, he said, wish I was there. Wish we'd grown up on the same advice, and our time was right. I wish that you and I thought a little more similarly, or thought the same. I wish that we were on the same page, and I wish that our time to be together was right now. I wish that we had better timing. Like, ugh. I remember being 15 and knowing that my girlfriend didn't like me anymore, and I came back home. It was cold night after we lost this football game to our rival, and she basically just didn't want anything to do with me anymore. And I could tell. I went home and I turned this song on. I just bawled my eyes out, Like, this song makes so many of us just absolutely go to that place, go to that vulnerable and heartbreaking place. I go there every single time I hear this song, and he ends it, and I think the best way possible. I know you gotta leave. Take down some summertime. Give up just tonight. Saying like, give me just one more night. One more night to be with you. One more night to experience this bliss. I know you got someone coming. You're spitting game. Know you got it. I know how smooth and charming you are. And I know you want to be with someone else, and they're going to love you the way I wish I could. Self-control. Beautiful song. Good Guy is just a quick outro, and it kind of speaks on Frank and his sexuality. He's a bisexual man, and he's kind of open with his experiences. Going out with this guy who takes him out to this gay bar, and who texts nothing like he looks, and who talks a lot, and he realizes, like, for him, this was much more than just a one night thing. It's kind of just these beginnings of how love begins to develop in little moments, in ways you don't expect. Very pretty song. I love it. Oh, Nights. Okay, so the crux of this entire album is Nights, without a doubt. Track 9. And Nights is this transition point for Frank and for the album. He's kind of, it's almost difficult to describe. The way I would describe it is that there are like 3 parts to Nights, and I'd say like the first part I would see as like the daytime. The middle part is like the sunset, where's that, when is that guitar going, almost hear it as like a clock almost. And then that transition, that gorgeous, amazing, beautiful transition, is the nighttime. And that part, it loves it every time. I love it every time. And that part begins with every night, every day up. Every day patches the night up, The things that we do at night mess up our ability to continue in the day, but yet we have the day to rely on to continue to hopefully patch things up that we did yesterday. All the relationships that we engage in that are seedy and underbelly, hopefully the day will come in to fix that, But does it ever really? And it throws out a reference to New Orleans with Boswell and Percy. He grew up in New Orleans, so he's a Louisiana man. Talks about going to eat at Shoney's and how he had to leave for Texas whenever Katrina hit, while he was in college. And just this chorus at the end, I sing it every time it comes up. Dropping baby off at home before my night shift. You know I can't hear none of that. Spend the night, the kumbaya. Want to see Nirvana, but don't want to die yet. Like, kind of recognizing the realities of life, the difficulties of life, having to work a 9 to 5, late into the night, being with someone who might have a child of their own, like, and still trying to experience life with so much life going on around us. And that's why I love this song. And it ends with like this kind of uh, two-part line of him speaking every day, every night, every day, every day, every day, every day, every night. Night's such a great song. You haven't listened to it, please go listen to it. Skip solo too. Skip solo as well. We don't need to talk about that. Skip Pretty Sweet. I enjoy Pretty Sweet, but we can skip that too. Um, yeah, cut all that, and then we can start right back here. Um, Facebook story. Facebook story is just this quick snippet, and it also happens to have running around in the background of this guy talking about his girlfriend breaking up with him because he didn't want to accept her on Facebook, and she thought that he was cheating on her because he wouldn't accept her on Facebook. And he's saying like, I'm in front of you, I'm here every day, here in your house. um, and it's kind of just like this commentary on how things are shifting, especially in 2016, like, the kind of shifting dynamics between people in real life and how that translates to how we relate to each other on the internet and vice versa. And it's kind of how, because the internet has taken up so much of our lives, that we begin to value acts of love via the internet. And something as simple as not accepting someone on Facebook, to them at this point in time, could be akin to you cheating or to you not loving them anymore. It's a quick snippet, but one that's really eye opening. Next up, I love Close to You too, but it's like 2 seconds. We can skip that. White Ferrari. Next up, we have White Ferrari. That is track 14. White Ferrari. I think it's just kind of just this. Cut that part out because I'm fucking up. Cut the entire section. I'm going to start in 5 seconds. Okay. Skip this part. That's okay. Please skip that. Here's what we can do. So I just talked about Facebook story, and after that you can cut to me talking about like these next couple songs. So here, 3, 2, 1. So here, after Facebook story, we have Close to You, White Ferrari, and Siegfried, all incredible songs. Close to You is more of a snippet, and it samples They Long to Be Close to You, which was sung live by Stevie Wonder. Uh, we have White Ferrari. This kind of looking back on a good time, on a different time. Uh, he's saying like, Sweet 16. How was I supposed to know anything? And I can relate to that. You have Siegfried. This laid back, stripped back, but beautiful song. You know, he's saying, I'm not brave. I'd rather go outside. I'd rather go to hell. I'd rather go to jail. I've tried hell. You know, what would you recommend I do? What would we recommend? After that, we're getting into these last two tracks. Godspeed. Godspeed will probably make you cry the first time you listen to it. Godspeed begins with Frank Ocean belting, "I will always love you, how I do. Let go of a prayer for you, just a sweet word." And I kind of think of this in two ways. I think the song can be interpreted in two ways. One, about, talking about someone who was passed on, saying that you will always love them and you'll say a prayer for them. I let go of my claim on you. It's a free world. You look down on where you came from sometimes, but you'll have this place to call home. And I think this also speaks to letting go of someone and trying to be content with it. Letting go of whether it be a lover or just a loved one in general, someone that you care about, knowing that they have to move on, that you have to let go of them, and finally accepting that I let go of my claim on you, and I will always love you the way I do, the way I always have loved you. And at the bridge, he says, "This love, the love that we share, will keep us through the blinding of the eyes, silence of the ears, and darkness of the mind. This love will stay with us until we wither and die," literally. And in the background, Kimbrough is saying, I'll always love you until the time we die. I will always love you no matter where you go, no matter where you are, no matter where we are in life. Until we are dead and gone, I will always have love for you. Which brings us into the final song, this 9-minute behemoth called Future Free. And this is like a part song, part snippets of interviews from his magazine called Boys Don't Cry. And he's kind of being very reflective on this. He's saying, I ain't making minimum wage, mama. I used to work on my feet for $7 an hour. Now I'm making 400, 600, 800K. Just stand on my feet, play these songs. It's therapy, mama. Talking to his mother directly, like just how much things have changed for him. And he's trying to deal with this growing ego. Like, I'm just a guy. I'm not a god. Sometimes I feel like a god, but I'm not a god. And to kind of bring him back down to earth, he say, if I was, I don't know which heaven would have me. If I were to run the galaxy, I would run it into the ground, the whole galaxy. Just this beautiful introspection of how someone who is very private, someone who came from almost nothing, can become so rich and famous. Like, what does that do? Like, what's the mindset of that person? And he's saying at the end, screw these people who have always hated on me. But he's not one to be above, criticism. He's saying, screw me as well if I ever hated on you. Like, being honest, like, he doesn't like the hate, but we're all human. We engage in it sometimes, from time to time. All of us do. And right here, he talks about, like, don't let them find Tupac, which kind of refers to this conspiracy theory that Tupac, like, faked his death in order to keep away from the cameras, keep away from the media life. And Frank, who's this famously private person, like, kind of envies that and wishes that for himself, wishes to be, wishes to evade the stress, evade the press, the same way Tupac has rumored to have completed. Um, at the end, there are these little skits, um, where some of his friends are interviewing skateboarders, including his younger brother Ryan Bro. Ryan Bro unfortunately passed away from a car accident on August 2nd, 2020, when he was just 18. So, listening to this last bit of the song, this last half of the song, featuring his younger brother, brings a whole new meaning to the song. You can kind of hear the excitement in his voice being asked, make sure you speak up. What's your name? It's just these kind of little just clips of people from a different time, which I think speaks to just, again, this idea of nostalgia, wanting to go back to a different time, but having these little vignettes to keep us through. The very last part is, how far is a light year? How far is a light year? I'd say like 1,000 years. I think to me is almost like 1,000 years from now, when we've all passed. These memories, this interview will still live on forever. We will still have that piece of ourselves, even as we've passed, even when we no longer can look back to where we came from. And that's Blonde. Blonde by Frank Ocean. It is an introspective, deeply melodical, methodic album, laced with plenty of themes. It's just such a wonderful body of work from such a wonderful artist who shows just how successful you can be being personal with your art. I recommend everyone listen to this, please. If you're listening to this right now, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Y'all go enjoy the rest of y'all's day. It's Kenneth Woods from Lions 4, news editor, signing out.